Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video, and please like, subscribe, and share the video. And if you want to, in the description below, there is a donation link for me to get better stuff in the future so I can provide better content for you guys. That's enough of me wasting your time. Thanks for watching the video. So, for A, we have a few things to discuss. For the mechanics of boss A, pretty much your main goal is to... There's like 3 methods of clearing it. You either clear it before phase 2, which is basically when he starts walking towards the middle. And it's possible to if we had operators or better gear. But if you can't do that, then the second method is basically to tank the laser beam and just redeploy everyone at that point. Or the third method is to just do the second DPS check normally. And after you get the second DPS check and save your ultimates for 150, you can either save your ultimates for 150 to ignore all the iframes, or the other method is basically just to tank the ultimate and then do the damage check later. Either way, it's pretty hard, but once you do one of those and get past the damage check, you're pretty much good. But once it is in rage, it is pretty hard to kill them. But yeah, in phase 1, the boss will basically stay at the end of the map, and they deal damage to targets in the melee range, and they also use the special ability once it comes. What the special ability does is basically just kind of does like a ground pound in a sense around the area, and it does knockback to the units in front of it, and has enough range to hit the rangers on this side right over here. Here where this red aura ends. But at 225 the boss will debuff your team to an extent. It can either do like skill seal or some other debuff. But the main thing you want to pay attention to in phase 1 is at 218 the boss will do a damage check, and if it fails it will perform a team wipe and just fire a strong beam and kill your whole team. So at that point you just wipe and restart. But after that, if you do succeed a damage check, it will go into phase 1.5, which is just walking. The boss will walk towards the end of the map, over here to the middle. And during this phase, it doesn't require a target in front, and will not use or trigger any skills. But the biggest thing is that it will not drop a laser beam that will wipe your team if you reduce it to 1/3 HP bar. At 1/3 HP bar, it will basically always activate the third phase and completely start running towards your ship and then smashing it. But at phase 1.5, while it's walking, it will not do that, and you'll basically be pretty much safe for the most part. Yeah, for pretty much all phases though, you need a target like in melee range-ish, which is again near this red aura. It's a pretty big melee range, and if there is none, it triggers the 8-second check, and if there's no target, the boss will just move to the next phase and wipe your team. So moving on to phase 2, the boss will also stay in the middle of the map and require a melee target in front of it. If you succeed damage checking in phase 1, most of your units should already be behind it, since the boss moves forward and your units are ranged. But you will most likely need to summon or deploy units in front of the boss so that the damage check does go through. At 150, the boss will trigger the ultimate skill, which will do high damage to units around it, most likely killing them, or bringing your units behind it forward. It has pretty high hit as well. Most likely you'll need to save your ultimate skill for this to dodge it with the iframes, and you want to do it near like 153-ish or so, 152-ish. But at 130, the biggest notable thing is that it will trigger a second damage check, and if it fails, obviously it moves on to the next phase, and it will be going to the enrage mode. And that's pretty much it for the most part. As long as you get past the second damage check, you're pretty much good. And afterwards, you just need to kill the boss ASAP before it kills your ship, because it will walk towards your ship that fast. The strat I'm using is basically using the Shinjia Kyle tech, where you basically only have rangers do the tanking for the most part, because they have clones to be in melee range. I completely forgot how I did this though, but we can just try. But you can see the 8-second check here. And it will get disrupted by Kyle's thing. I'm gonna deploy Gayun here for the next 8-second check, because she goes into melee range a bit, then gets wiped behind a bit. You want to disable ults here after Kyle's ult, because he has high CDR for the most part. After that, you want to summon Shinjia for another clone after the Kyle walls come down. You can also summon Hinatsu for more heals. The biggest thing here is that you need to summon enough units to hopefully not be able to use Su-Yun for the damage check or the ultimate. You would save your S1 for it as well and drop it at near 220 so it hits at 218. Now what do I do after this? I want to save Shifuyu for phase 2 and I want to save Su-Yun for phase 2 as well, so I want them in my hand. Okay. Another thing to mention is that every third unit that you spawn that is a ground type unit, it will summon mines. As you can see, the red aura here, it will summon landmines that will basically just pop onto your units here, which is pretty annoying. Hopefully it doesn't crit and kill your units, but sometimes it knocks your units forward, which is super annoying. I'm gonna use the S1 here. I did it a little bit late, but hopefully we can still perform the damage check. The mines did knock down my units, so hopefully the DPS isn't stopped that much, but it seems like they're still pretty good, so I might be able to clear this damage check pretty easily. Now at this point, you're gonna let the boss walk in front of you for the most part for a decent amount of time. Now right here, what I like to do is I basically want to wait for this bar to get near full before deploying my Chifuyu, because he doesn't attack your units at all during this phase, so the mines won't land, the special will just be ignored, etc. As you can see right here, the special isn't being triggered right now, and then I drop Shifuyu. Yeah, but he does the special here, which is really annoying, but it's fine for the most part. Doesn't kill my units yet, but I did forget to actually use my ultimate. It actually comes around 153 for the ultimate skill, which is really annoying. So this run is basically already a loss, but what happens here is basically at 153 you would want to ultimate, or it triggers at like 154, and then near like, no, it triggers at 153, but you want to trigger your ultimates near 154 or like a little bit after 150 or 155, so that you can dodge the boss's ultimate with your iframes. The most notable thing that you want to do is just look at the purple bar at the top right there near the boss, and then activate your iframes to dodge it. After that, you go into the 130 phase, which is again right here. Most of your units should be alive. Some of your units, not all of them, because some will activate, some won't. But if Kim Sobin is still alive, that's really good. If Rosario dies, that's fine, because you can redeploy her to be stronger, and then you can put her, or most of them will be behind them, not getting hit. Afterwards, you pretty much deploy Su-Yun, activate your ultimate, and get that 130 check, and then clear as much as you can. Deploy as much units behind as you can, because the enemies in front will just completely get wiped, or the allies in front will completely get wiped by the melee attacks, by the defender boss. And it's just a damage check on the last bar to the very last part of your HP. Now that's pretty much what happens for the most part. You can also see what happens if like you don't do anything here, because you pretty much just die for the most part. I will do a damage check here, but pretty damn hard to do it. And you also can't iframe through, even with Gayun, who has pretty much the highest amount of iframes. Now at this point, he does go into enrage mode if you get to 1/3 HP bar, but it doesn't attack as fast in regular mode. But this is phase 3, just at your ship, and it's gonna kill your ship basically. But when it's in rage mode, it will attack super fast, so you want to kill as fast as possible. At this point, you should have the boss at like near where this attack speed buff is, the first one, near that amount of HP. So you should be able to kill it in time, but it's a pretty rough timing, I guess. I forgot what the word's called. It's a narrow time frame to actually kill it here. But that's if you do everything right. But yeah, that's pretty much a boss A for the most part. This is the team I used for it. But you could do other teams. But I definitely think Kim Sobin is a very big part of the team.